Yo guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're not then already, subscribe to Off the Canvas Boxing, like the video, do all that good stuff. Okay, I'm in business attire today because we're talking about business. Okay, in this conversation, Dazn are looking to buy BT Sport as a whole entity. Now, for those of you guys who are in the UK or a bit more, international viewers, BT Sport does things such as the Champions League, a few Premier League matches. Okay, they don't only just do boxing. So here's a bit of an article from Reuters. Sports streaming service Dazn is nearing a deal to acquire Britain's BT Sport in an estimated $800 million, I think, transactions that will give it access to sought after rights to the Premier League and Champions League. For sources familiar with the matter told Reuters. Okay, so 4 separate sources. A deal is expected to be reached as soon as this month after protracted negotiations that became public last fall. Sources said transaction has yet to be finalized and could still fall apart, they added. So what does this mean for boxing and boxing as a whole entity? That means that it would just be a very similar case to Dazn in the US, whereby Eddie will promote some shows and Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy would do a couple of other shows in a couple of weeks. Could they do more shows in one day? Probably, yeah, because on BT Sport during the Champions League, they may have Chelsea versus Juventus, Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid versus whatever team, Dortmund, okay, for argument's sake, all on the same night at the same time, and they will be like one on BT Sport 1, BT Sport 2, BT Sport 3. It will be a very similar case scenario on Dazn. Like, is there no longer a BT app? I don't know, but that just means that there'll be more eyes on the Dazn app, more subscriptions. This is probably a lot bigger than any mega fight that you can put on Dazn in terms of subscription, because how it works is the Champions League and the Premier League, the viewership in the UK is off the roof, absolutely off the roof. Okay, especially during the latter stage of the Champions League. The final, of course, is on free TV, but a lot of people watch it, especially during big Premier League games such as Liverpool versus Man United, Arsenal versus Man United, Chelsea versus City, something along those lines. Okay, the Dazn will get a large portion of subscriptions through that method. Now, with the UK, Eddie Hearn, that just means that Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren will be working a little closer than they are at the moment. Would that kind of bridge the relationship? Potentially, if Dazn turn around and say, look, we want to put on a fight such as I don't know, who have Queensbury got? Zach Parker. Let's just say Zach Parker. They say, okay, Zach Parker versus Billy Joe Saunders. We want to put it onto Dazn, and we want, we want to promote that fight. It'll be a little bit more easier than if it was on just BT and as a separate entity. There's no guarantee that they'll work together. I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys, but it's a little bit more of an olive branch. So this is huge news for Frank Warren and them lot there. Would Tyson Fury and AJ be on Dazn? Potentially. That just means that it's going to be on a Dazn pay-per-view type of a scenario. Now, I know when I spoke about this last year with regards to just Dazn and their deal with Matchroom, the idea was that they were going to remove pay-per-view as a whole entity. Now, I think that with regards to just pay-per-view, for me, in my opinion, I just believe that unless there's some sort of whole systemic change, it's very difficult to get rid of pay-per-view, because in the US they still continue in the pay-per-view. If, let's just say, if the US and all of the other markets were all on board and they wanted to use the money that's generated through subscriptions to promote the fights, the kind of the top echelon fighters will lose a lot of money. So if they're all comfortable with it, you can kind of make it work. But I think with regards to just the managers and the promoters at the highest level, they want to make as much money for the fighters as humanly possible. The best way to do that is on pay-per-view. The most money you're going to get for the fighters is on pay-per-view. Is that I believe that is 100% wrong. I think that if the sport isn't big enough to make them pay-per-view, to make them the money that they want, then really and truly that's all it is at the moment. That's all what's in the pot at the moment. There's no point kind of squeezing the lemons from the fans, because I'm a huge believer in treating this as a sport and matching it similar to other sports. Cricket isn't on pay-per-view, darts isn't on pay-per-view, what else is it on pay-per-view? So a whole heap of other sports isn't on pay-per-view, apart from boxing, UFC and WWE. So unless we want to treat it as another sport, that's probably one of the biggest contributing factors to get a lot of casual fans into hardcore fans, is to get rid of that part. Now in the UK, it's a little bit better, because in the UK for the most part there hasn't been a lot of pay-per-views through the introduction of the Dazn and BT, BT fight nights, or Saturday night fight nights, or even Sky Sports. There hasn't been a lot of pay-per-views. It's in the US where the problem is, okay? And I think that if they change in the US, it will kind of trickle down to the UK. A bit like, mumble rap, right? And I'm going off topic, I'm steering the conversation left. But mumble rap, right? It started mostly in the US. But after a little bit of time, it kind of crossed over to the pond. I think how it works is, I would say the US are a couple of years ahead of us from a cultural standpoint, and from like I wouldn't say a mindset, but from a trend standpoint, okay, they're a little bit more ahead of us. Apart from maybe fashion, but for the most part, they're a little bit more ahead of us. Now, here in the UK, for me, I think if we want to grow the sport boxing here, we either have to break away from them, or we have to hope that they change the pay-per-view out there in the US. Because I think Charles Martin versus Luis Ortiz was on pay-per-view. Now, I completely disagree with having that kind of a fight on pay-per-view for $40, mate. That's more than an AJ fight. That's more than an AJ fight. So overall, back to the topic with regards to the Dazn, do I think this is a great idea? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and also you can convert football fans to boxing. Because let's just say, and this is something that's been going on Sky Sports, whereby that's why a lot of their fighters, that's why a lot of people who fight on Sky Sports, they happen to acquire a lot of money. It's because on Sky Sports the football could finish, and then straight afterwards they could just flick onto the boxing. It would be like a continuation type of a scenario. With the Dazn, they didn't have that, so it would be great. So let's say you finish the Champions League night. Let's just say the Champions League. I don't know, but then the Champions League is on a Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know if the Champions League happens or the Premier League match happens on a big match on Saturday evening, Saturday 5:30. There's a big match. Straight afterwards, that will be around 7. That match will finish 7:30. Then that means that the boxing will be straight on afterwards. That would be a great way to drive in numbers, to drive in their fans. So from a corporate side, I completely get how these are doing it. And there's a bit on Discovery, so representatives of BT and Dazn declined to comment as did those for Discovery Incorporated, which emerged as a rival bidder in December when discussions between BT and Dazn stalled. Okay, Discovery is big in the US. Okay, I've been to the US. I stayed there for a couple of months as well, but I'm not sure how big they are with regards to whether they can cause any problems in the negotiations. But I'm really here for it, man. I'm really here for it. I'm a huge fan of the Dazn. I like what they do with the production. Rather, the BT production here with Frank Warren was whack. Was absolutely horrendous, and I believe that Frank Warren's shows are going to go up a whole heap of levels. I think prior to that, or prior to the Dazn or potential Dazn link, I was seeing lights go off. I was seeing music go in and out. It was a bad look from a production standpoint. I thought that what's his name, Boxer, would overtake Frank, but right now I think that Frank could make a huge resurgence, especially with the money. Do you know how much money Dazn have? Dazn pumps a lot of money into Frank Warren. Frank Warren, that's like a new lease of life. That's like a get out of jail free card if you play Monopoly. Big up Monopoly, yeah. Listen, guys, I don't know whether to start a Monopoly tournament, yeah, but Monopoly is sick. Listen, this suit is getting me. It's like it's tapping into my brain. I feel like an evil genius, bro. Yeah, big up you guys as well. And we'll touch on a few extra topics as well. With regards to just Dillian White and negotiations with Dillian White. Yeah, a thought just came into my head recently, which could be the case. They pushed back the date for the purpose for about a week. Could it be, and I'm going to ask the question to the audience, if you guys want to comment below, let me know. Could it be a case that they might elevate Tyson Fury to franchise champion? I think that is very much could be on the cards. If you guys disagree, let me know in the comment section below. But I just think that Tyson Fury, from the rhetoric that I'm hearing, isn't looking to vacate the belt, but looking to fight a bit earlier. And not against Dillian White. There's only one way to go about it. Either Dillian White balls out, or you be elevated to a franchise champion. And that, if that happens, listen, guys, that would be like, it'll be a sad day of boxing. It'll be an absolute sad day of boxing. I wish I could start like a little petition, but at the same time, in the US, I don't think they do petitions out there in the US, so ain't really gonna make much of a difference. But in the UK, if you wanted to do a petition, you could get like 100,000 signatures, send them up into the House of Parliament. But to be fair, the House of Parliament, these men are all tapped. You see Boris Johnson listen, guys, yeah, I was gonna end the video, yeah, but bro, you know Boris Johnson, yeah. Yo, listen, I have to, you know what, I admire what he does with regards to just how he's got everybody on lock. But the guy is scum of the earth, bro. Like, yo, I've seen the guys. Okay, whilst everybody was in a lockdown, him and his mates decided to throw a party in number 10. Yo, it's mad, you know. I wish I was invited to, yeah. And now he's being stuck on, like, every time, for the last, couple of weeks, couple of months, there's been sort of kind of whisper speculations. And all of his sort of goons, all of the guys that kind of work with him were doing interviews, etc. And they say, look, he's not like, Boris Johnson is a great guy. Look, he's doing great for the country. Like, they're all backing him. They're all singing off the same hymn sheet. None of them cracked. Yeah. But now, yeah. Somebody from the back, I have no idea why. Maybe Bojo's got to spin the block here because somebody snitched, but like, it's all coming out. And the way he got cooked the other day, yo, fam, yeah. See, bro, this suit is making me say some things that I wouldn't say when I'm wearing a tracksuit, yeah. But before I start, you know, plotting some evil stuff, yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys there. I should, well, bro, off the cameras. We're big off the cameras are talking about politics, you know. I don't follow no, like, I'm not a fan of one side or the other side, bruv. I'm just seeing it as pure entertainment, okay? Anything that can make me smile, I'm here for it, okay? Well, thank you for watching this video. Like, subscribe, do all that great stuff. Peace, love, prosperity. I'm gonna see you guys in a bit. Peace.